welcome to another episode of Hazard Time News, and today I'm going to be discussing the latest in video gaming news, TV news, and movie news. And I'm going to go in that order because there's significantly more movie news this week, so I'm going to save that to the end. Starting off with video game news, I didn't see much worthwhile mentioning. Something that I saw was interesting is they were talking about Halo 6, or as it's called now, Halo Infinite. And they're saying they're redesigning Master Chief. They say he's going to look pretty cool. I mean, there's not much to take away from there, but Halo 6 is one of the few games that I actually am looking forward to, so it's always going to be nice to see any Halo news at all. So I'll be looking forward to that, keeping an eye on that. There's a couple TV stories I thought were interesting. This one actually surprises me a lot. It's something I never thought was going to happen. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to be coming back for Supernatural. He'll be showing up in the 300th episode. And he hasn't been on the show since Season 2. They're in Season 14 now. I honestly never thought they would be bringing him back. So I am kind of surprised that this is happening. I'm sure he'll only be back for this episode since he's got this big part in Walking Dead now. He's like a regular in that. You know, he'll just probably be a guest for this episode. I would again be surprised if they brought him back as like a recurring role, maybe in the next season or something. I mean, obviously anything can happen with Supernatural. Dead characters don't stay dead unless the character isn't liked, which happened with a lot of the female characters. They just weren't liked, so they just stayed dead. Everybody else on the show has died like 3 or 4 times and come back. So, and again, I haven't watched Supernatural since like episode 200, so I mean, I'm kind of interested to see this, to see what's going on, and how they bring him back, how that works. But I've just been out of the game so long with Supernatural, I just don't know. I don't know how that's going to work, and we'll have to see what happens. I might just watch the episode by itself and hope I understand what's going on. I mean, even if you watch all the episodes, you still don't always understand what's going on sometimes. Next, in TV news, they talk about the Marvel Netflix deal that they made, and specifically they're saying how part of their contract that they signed says that these characters can't show up in anything else for 2 years. So potentially the earliest we could see Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage would be 2020. And the earliest we see Jessica Jones would be 2021, because we can assume that Netflix is going to be canceling Jessica Jones after Season 3. Now, we don't know if this deal applies for Punisher. You know, the Punisher might be a different story. There might not be that 2-year stipulation on Punisher. They might not even cancel Punisher at all. Punisher might be the one special show that they keep on. So who knows what this means. I mean, either way, with this deal, Marvel would have to wait 2 years to bring back the characters. So, I mean, who knows? They might just wait 2 years, bring back the cast, put the same cast on Hulu, or wait 2 years with a new cast. Like I said, like I've mentioned before, I hope they bring back the same cast. But again, also, something to think about, this is Disney we're talking about. If Disney really wants to start using these characters again, they got the money to buy their way out of this contract or whatever, you know. You don't get to tell Disney no. I mean, they basically do what they want. So if they wanted to see these characters again, they could. But it's just more nail in the coffin that this stuff is done. It's disappointing. Like I mentioned, there's just a lot more movie news. Start with some DC news. We got DC, we got Marvel, we got Star Wars, we got everything. DC, the script for the Batman has like a deadline, and Matt Reeves needs to finish it by the end of the year. So I guess progress is being made on that movie. We don't know if Ben Affleck is going to be back as Batman. We don't even know about Henry Cavill as Superman. They were talking about replacing him. Jason Momoa recently said that Henry Cavill is sticking around, so who knows what to believe. And then we also got Birds of Prey, which I think Birds of Prey is the next. Okay, we got Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 1980 something, and Birds of Prey. I think that's the order going on. Birds of Prey will star Harley Quinn, I think. I don't know. This whole DC stuff, it's really, really confusing. We've got like 4 movies that are supposed to star Harley Quinn. There's like Gotham City Sirens, there's Harley Quinn and Joker, there's a standalone Harley Quinn, there's a Suicide 2 with Harley Quinn. I'm just so confused about the DCEU. I don't know what's going on. But what we do know is that Victor Zsasz is going to be in Birds of Prey. And they've cast the guy. I haven't seen him in anything, so I don't care about that. But Victor Zsasz, he's a good Batman villain. He showed up briefly in Batman Begins. He has a big part in the TV show Gotham, which I'm a fan of. So I like the character somewhat. It's interesting to see what they do with this. But move on to Marvel news. Doctor Strange 2 is going to be directed by Scott Derrickson, who directed the first one. Now, I don't know if this means Doctor Strange 2 is officially confirmed. It might have been confirmed before this, but it was always kind of speculated that, yeah, they were going to do it too, because they like to franchise this stuff. But it's interesting that they're making it too. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I thought the first Doctor Strange was okay. I guess this is just further proof that none of those snapped characters are going to stay dead. So also, I'm going to skip around a little bit, talk about Star Wars. There's a rumor going around that Ed Sheeran is going to have a cameo in Star Wars Episode 9. I don't really understand what the big deal with Ed Sheeran is. Why are they giving him cameos and everything? I mean, he had a cameo in Game of Thrones. Everyone was super confused about that. Like, why are they giving him a cameo in this too? I don't know what's going on. But he'll probably just be a stormtrooper like everyone else. I don't like that they keep announcing all these cameos. They didn't do that for Force Awakens. They did that more for Last Jedi. They're like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's going to be in here, Justin Theroux's going to be in here, Tom Hardy's going to be in. Like, why are they saying all these cameos? We don't notice the cameos, so it works better when it's, oh, you know, by the way, that stormtrooper in that one scene, that was Daniel Craig. That worked good because you can leave the theater and hear that later, and then like, oh, that's pretty neat, because that's all it does for you. You know, if they tell you Daniel Craig's going to be in this movie as a stormtrooper, it doesn't do anything for you because you don't see him. So why are they announcing these cameos? I find it's kind of silly. And I guess the big news is Venom 2 has been, I suppose, officially confirmed. Maybe like unofficially, officially confirmed. And the writer is talking about the possibility of bringing Venom. I mean, the writer is talking about the possibility of bringing Spider-Man into the fold for a Venom sequel. Or maybe a Venom 3. And I've talked about this before. I talked about it in the Venom review I did, I'm pretty sure. But there is a possibility of seeing Spider-Man because the Sony Marvel Spider-Man deal is going to be ending with Far From Home, so they could potentially get that character back. They could make a new contract where Marvel gets the character for more movies, or Sony and Marvel could make more of an effort to integrate their two universes together, because I think Sony also wants to do a Mysterio movie. And I think it would be interesting if they could get Jake Gyllenhaal back as Mysterio from Far From Home, bring him in to headline his own Mysterio movie, and, you know, they could just further integrate these movies. So we could continue to see Tom Holland Spider-Man in Avengers movies, And Tom Holland could also show up in Venom. And I don't really need Venom to show up in Avengers. I mean, that character just doesn't seem like he fits in with. I can't see Venom fighting alongside Thor and Iron Man. That just seems weird to me. But the potential of Venom and Spider-Man in Venom 2, it very much excites me, especially when we start talking about Carnage, because I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but the one thing I want to see in a movie more than anything else, I want to see Spider-Man and Venom team up to fight Carnage. That's number one on my movie wish list. If I get that, I will be a very happy man. So, very interested in the possibility of Spider-Man and Venom 2. It's something that I'm going to be following very closely, considering how much I liked Venom. And yeah, I think that's about it. I know the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropped in Brazil or something, Brazil Comic Con, which I didn't even know was a thing, but apparently they're getting all the good stuff. Like I said, there's been, reports about what we see in the trailer, Mysterio's role in the movie, particularly Nick Fury being in it. Minor details here and there. Nothing to talk about. I'll talk about it more once it actually drops in one of my videos. But for now, I'm going to end it here, and I will see you guys next week.